So what is going on, Toro Tim? How are you?
Man, I am doing fantastic, brother, because our San Antonios are the CoFL champions for the first time since 1967.
Yup.
So, that's great news, right? We kind of called it whatever it was 2 months ago that they were going to do it, but, spoke it into fruition,
Oh
and
yeah.
now we're here.
Now we are here. And before we go too into tonight's festivities and everything, because we should have a pretty extensive list of guests coming on tonight. Uh, but let me do this first and foremost. Got to give a plug to one of the inspirations behind the show here, but that would be Bangers Fireworks. Right, we're getting ready to have 4th of July here in just a couple of days. It is the 250th anniversary of our great country, and what better
Mark it.
way to celebrate? Yeah, what better way to celebrate America than blow stuff up with fireworks? Uh, and so one of the team owners happens to also own Bangers Fireworks, and so I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't also give a terrible shout out and plug to obviously Bangers Fireworks. So if you
Hey,
guys are in an area where you can shoot fireworks off safely, make sure you swing by Bangers Fireworks. They've got the 4 locations right there, newest one in Castroville, of course, and just go check out their merchandise, man. They've got some really great stuff, and I think you'll be really surprised by the prices and the quality. So,
and
Bangers Fireworks,
if
go
I'm
ahead.
not mistaken, right? If you spend $100 in fireworks, you get a free San Antonio Toros T-shirt. Saw an
Uh,
advertisement for that on the Facebook page.
that could very well be. I have not had a chance to look into that too much, but that sounds like something that an owner of a football team would do, right? So buy $100 of merchandise, get a free Toros T-shirt, and what could be wrong with that? So, uh,
Now, if you
want
do
to
go to Bangers Fireworks and pick you up some goodies for the weekend, don't be one of the guys who doesn't go to work with all 10 fingers on Monday. You know,
That's true,
don't be
right?
one of
No,
those guys showing
no
up.
Jason Pierre-Paul. Okay, we all know how that worked out for him. Although I'm going to guess it worked out that he was on defense because he didn't really have to catch, so he didn't need all of his fingers. But that's a whole different story, right? Um, Another group that we met through all of this, the tailgating and everything, is Velada Vodka. And so putting a little splash screen up on them because I got to tell you, Tim, we all know SAJ likes the alcoholic drinks. This was very, very impressive for me. Oh, and look, Lori just happened to do a plug herself. Where would you go, Lori, if something happened to you? Let's say you had a firework accident. Where would you suggest all of our fans go to? And while Lori's responding to that, I'll continue plugging Velada Vodka. They set up their tent right across from us at one of the tailgates, and then kind of subsequently, stayed very close by. And I'm glad they did because they had some incredible, incredible drinks. Tim, do you remember some of the stuff that they had?
Yeah, man, the mango vodka. I want to say they had the mango vodka and they threw some chamoy on there, and it was phenomenal. Didn't even taste like alcohol. So it might be a little bit
Um,
dangerous.
I know it almost it Toro's punch for sure. You know, um, it was just an incredible, incredible, refreshing drink. Did not taste like alcohol, and especially on a hot summer day, you could almost forget that you're drinking alcohol, right? So you had to drink responsibly. It was great, and we're getting some support definitely for a lot of. It is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, be next season we're definitely gonna have to use theirs for our Toro punch.
Yes, Yeah, we'll have to talk to them and work out some stuff for sure. Um, but let's talk about while we're waiting for some of our guests to kind of pop in. Um, what did you think of Sunday's performance of the team?
And so, obviously we gave up the points, right? But I thought it was the best football game we've watched all season. It was the most interactive, most engaging, you know, uh, after blowing so many teams just straight out of the water with some of the scores we had, it was good to see the opponent get in there. Tall City, they look great. Tall City looked like they really started to come around and connect as a team. And, I mean, unfortunately, that's one of the issues when you don't have the preseason games and the extra time in training camp to make those connections. Because we already knew the Toros had the connections coming in. A lot of players from UTSA were already on the team. A lot of guys already knew each other, so they already had that kind of connection that sparked from the beginning. But you could really see Tall City start to pick that up in that game, and so it was an exciting game.
By the way, these are the locations of the complete cares. If God forbid, if something happens, but if something does happen, go to any one of these complete care locations, and they will definitely take care
One
of
of
you.
these, whatever. If you lose any one of these, complete care's got you.
Yes. And Toro Tim, you got a shout out for
I
your
got a
punch.
fan. Uh,
I told you it was some dangerous
I mean, I
stuff.
can't blame them.
And then G289 Productions and Entertainment checking in. Good to see you guys. And Cynthia, you got a shout out too from Lori. Um, the I have to agree with you. I thought Sunday's game was a good challenge, especially that second quarter when Tall City made a stand and started pushing back and actually threatening that lead. Um, it was one of those situations where you're like, oh man, is this going to be, a situation where they're actually going to get back into the game?
Yeah, especially when you go
Um,
into that continental shift in the fourth quarter. I mean, anything can happen.
mhm. Well, and I thought for the briefest of time, right, that Jerry Glanville may have met his match on defense. He had an offense that had actually adjusted to him. But I should have known better, right? Never doubt Mr. Glanville. And he was able to make adjustments to counter the adjustments that Tall City made and really get that defense back to being dominant again towards, the first part of the third quarter. And then just from then on
Yeah,
out,
just kind
right?
of showing
All the way
down.
through the fourth.
And then the game with the pick six. Can't complain about that.
No, not at all. And so it's funny. I got to talk to Obi. He's the guy who got the pick six, and he was talking about all that, and he was telling me about how he kind of practiced that whole thing, right? The pick six, the return, you know, just all the movements, everything. And I'm sorry, I'm dealing with some pushback from TikTok. They're complaining about our video. I don't know why, but whatever. Forget them. Anyways, Obi was not necessarily surprised by it, but I don't think he expected that to happen the way that he did. But that's proof positive in the system that he followed what he was training on. He followed his instincts, everything he'd been working for, and it just came together in a perfect culmination, which wound up leading him to that pick six, and it was incredible.
If I'm
So,
not mistaken, it was one of the receivers in forward motion, right? And he got that jump on it, got in front of it,
mhm.
and just nothing
Oh
but end
yeah,
zone in front of him.
yep, he read the route perfectly, got in the right position, snagged it, took it to the house for six. Now, I do want to talk about the officiating and more importantly the sponsors for the game, right? Because we had our crew there also. Greg Simmons and Jay Riley were there, They were watching the game. They definitely had some input on things. What did you think about that announcing crew for Tall City?
I mean, I think the announcers for all the entire league, like, watching syndicate games too, that they've been kind of monotone. They definitely started getting into it towards the end of the season, like they were doing a lot better. But I mean, overall, I could have sat there in silence and watched it and been just as content.
Yeah, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. Hi, my love. That's Sleepy Toro right there, my one and only. Um, I I understand people are biased. Uh-oh. Speaking of biased, let's talk about the greatest person working for the Toros ever. Because I'm a little bit biased. Miss Jen, how the heck are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Tim and I were just beating up on the announcing crew for the Tall City game.
Oh.
So, yeah. I understand being biased and I understand having hometown favorites, but I kind of feel like that might have gone a little bit beyond what would be considered acceptable. Maybe that's just me. Again, I'm the old grumpy, biased, opinionated guy. Um, but there's a level of hometown homerism, and I feel like they definitely took it to the extreme. So, uh, but I mean, you were there. You probably heard a lot of the same things also. Um, what was your impression of the game?
Well, I guess my question should be, or my answer should be, let me come back to you. When you talk about the game, are you talking about the game itself? Because obviously our players are amazing and pulled it out and showed them exactly what it's about. But if you're looking at it
Yeah.
from a sponsorship perspective or a business perspective, my thoughts are different in every capacity. So I guess my question
Okay.
to you on what exactly.
Well, I I think I want to change my question and find out more about this statement here. What what happened, Miss Jen?
Well, I mean, the refs. I watched the game. I don't think I have to say too much considering, the way, let's just be candid. The way the refs were calling uh, was kind of scary on both sides. I can't even say it was just one or the other on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very protective of my Toros, so I was not a happy camper, and neither were half the fans in the stand. So you kind of look at it in every perspective, um,
Mm-hmm.
especially when safety is a factor. It's about making sure the players are safe, and there's a lot of injury that could have been avoided if the calls were correct, in my opinion.
I, I agree. Having been a football fan most of my life, I do think that player safety needs to be first and foremost. I mean, that needs to be paramount in every official's focus. And if you're not making the right calls, maybe you're not doing the right job,
Right.
right? Um, and either way, I mean, again, if our guys are messing up, call them out on it. That's only fair. That's the only way they're going to learn and be able to get better. Because again, we're focused on trying to get these guys to the next level. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So call it fair. Don't. It doesn't matter which way it goes. If somebody is doing or jeopardizing another person's safety, that's simple.
Absolutely.
And so I do agree with you that there were some calls that were missed, and some calls that were a little bit kind of over the top. But let's talk about from the business standpoint. So, from a business standpoint, what would your thoughts be of that game?
Well, from a sponsorship perspective, I mean, that's just everybody does it different. So I don't want to say one's better than the other or one's right or one's wrong. We all just do it different. Um, as far as, the team showing up and things happening and things being done, it was fun. I mean, it was great. they were there and things were open, and I mean, we had a game and beautiful stadium. So I mean, we move forward, and it's it's awesome. It was awesome. We were welcomed. It was good. It's just, again, everybody does things different. Not fair for me to have an opinion in that sense.
No, and that's perfectly fine. Again, I just, I wanted to get your thoughts, being, an employee of the team, if you will, seeing it from the full production value, right? Because this by far was the closest game that we've had against any opponent in the CoFL. And it wasn't like, Tall City doesn't have any talent on their team. They definitely have a talented group of guys. They have a talented coaching staff. And again, I mean, they showed that. Now, I do agree with some of the comments that, some of the announcers made about, if the Toros were to play the black gold again, that it would be a black gold, a little bit bold of a statement and kind of taking a little bit away from the talent that we have. But that's a whole different story. We could get into that and talk about that for hours. We're not really going to.
Well, I'll say about that is I'm biased and I don't believe it. So there, bring it on.
Fair enough.
I would put the Toros up against any of them. We have an amazing team, amazing coaching staff, amazing owners, amazing fans, and show up. I mean, we had more fans. Let's go. We had more fans on our side, on the visitor side, than they did on theirs. So, and they drove to Midland to be there. So I don't, know. Yeah. So I'm biased. Sorry, everybody else. I'm really a biased person.
Yeah, I mean, the coaches and the players will tell you it's hard to beat a team 2 times in a season, right? But of course, the Toros would have beat the Black Gold 3 times in a season had we played them again.
Absolutely. Right. They did have some good talent, and there were some things that happened that probably shouldn't have happened. And I'm not a coach, so, I can't tell you the specifics or the exacts. But what I can tell you is our team is strong. And even on a oops, they come back full force and take it out, and they proved that in the game. So I don't need. We've just got way too much talent, and we're very blessed to have the crew that we have on the field, off the field. Our players are just amazing. So I'll stand behind that all day long.
Oh yeah. And let's see what agreed. Toros would definitely take any opponent, and sorry, not sorry. Agree.
Yeah. We also have the coolest fans. Love
well,
it.
and then you have Tim and myself also. So
that's what I have the best fans. We're so lucky, and they show up. It's great.
Yeah, and I really wanted to make that game. I know Tim wanted to also. I unfortunately had some prior commitments. We had to do some side work to kind of pay for an upcoming staycation that we're doing this next weekend.
Totally get it.
Don't have kids. No, I'm kidding. You can have kids. You just got to budget and figure things out.
Don't have to explain to me.
Okay, so Saturday's game obviously was the closest that we had. Good production overall. Some questionable stuff that happened, but overall it was a good production. What do you think about the season as a whole? I mean, obviously, we won all of our games,
right,
except for the one that we were supposed to play this weekend, and then, the championship thing falling apart and everything. But how do you think the Toros did as a team, and then how do you think the league did as a league?
Wow, you're putting me on the spot here. As far as our team goes, I think it was shown. The numbers showed it. I think that we were very lucky to have some coaches that just did amazing recruiting. Stan leading the pack, and with, Jerry Glanville and Bert Hill and, Charlie and Sing and Alex and River and Marcus and our volunteer coaches. I mean, they found the right players that could play well together. And I mean, it showed. And I mean, that's what it's about, is bringing from the top to the bottom. You've got owners that work well together. You've got coaches that work well together. Proved it didn't matter how much time, we practiced or what we did. They showed up and showed out. And I don't have to, again, have to, elaborate on that. I think the proof's in the pudding on the field. So, whether we had a game on the 5th or not, there's not a doubt in my mind we would have went in and dominated. So that's not even a question. As far as the league as itself, it saddened me to see some of the challenges that the league had. But again, we pivot, we made things happen. We changed what we needed to from our side. I know all the teams are doing the same thing to, those that are still standing and those that didn't make it. But the league, without saying too much and saying enough, I mean, I can't wait for 2027. Let's just go there, and the growth that's going to come with it. That's probably the best thing to say about the league. We've learned. I think everybody's learned, and I think that you're just going to see better and better. And if I have my way, I want all my same players back, unless they go and take the next level. But I can't fight that.
Yeah, I
What's
mean, from
up,
the
Bobby?
fan perspective, when the team started dropping out, you're like, oh crap, like is everything falling apart right now? That's obviously not the case. 2027, the league's going to bounce back stronger than ever. Season 2 is going to be even better than the first season, and it's just going to keep building from there.
Absolutely. And I mean, let's be honest, everything in the first year has growing pains, whether it's an individual team or is it multiples, because you're walking into something you don't know. You're walking into unfamiliar territory. And as much as even ourselves, we like to think we were put together and things were going, but there wasn't a game or an event or an activity that we had that didn't have to pivot at some point. Whether it be, I love this, whether it be, the team stood strong and steady. We didn't have to worry about them, but everything behind the scenes was crazy. Used
Yes.
to setups to, I mean, and it happens, but the fans were very understanding and embracing, and folks like yourself that are very supported and backed us. And we went out every game and put on a product and a show. And whether the PA system was not where we wanted it to be, or a tent was blowing, we made it happen and executed. And we had great sponsors that supported it as well. The tailgating from day one to the last game grew crazy, thanks to you guys for sure. But I'm just saying, so because everything was in a growing status, now we get to go into heaven with everything else, so we're really excited about it. Yes, sir.
So let's do this. We're going to talk about 2027. We probably ought to bring this gentleman into the mix.
Oh, thank God.
The most elusive guest I've ever tried to have. I've been trying to get this man on the show for, God, at least the full season for sure. And maybe even back to, the other football club days. But Josh, welcome to the show, man.
Yep. And just like that, he's gone.
And there he goes.
I was to say, that's the guy to have for sure. He's led the pack, so that is the gentleman to have.
And I would say, from what y'all did for the fans just here in this first season, between the community outreach events and everything, the team did a phenomenal job, better than we've seen with some of the the league we're not going to speak about, that didn't do any of that kind of stuff for us. So I'm really excited for next year.
We are too. I hope that Josh gets to come back because he can elaborate a lot more on some of this stuff than I can for sure. So hopefully you get him back on there. There he is.
Let's bring him on and have him talk.
Please do.
Welcome to the show, Josh. Can you hear us? You got audio? We've got some video from you. Do you have audio, bud?
Hear you? Can you
There you
hear
go.
me?
We can hear you now. So we were talking about 20. Yeah, we can hear you. You got us? I'm hoping you can hear us. I'm not sure if we got a little bit of a delay or something going on here.
And he might be on that Hill Country Starlink with me.
So sorry.
Kids don't move to the hill country. Well, Josh, if you can hear us, give us a little sign. It looks like you might be frozen. So, okay. So I'm gonna pull him out of the feed for right now. Josh, if you can get your stuff working, then come back and join us. But 2027. I know you can't tell us too terribly much. There's also not too terribly much that could be told, right? Plans in the works. There's some, irons in the fire. But from what you can tell us,
Nothing. No, go
right?
ahead.
I mean, there really aren't any details. We know that the team is looking at, a training facility and a home facility, right? But in terms of scale, how much bigger is 2027 going to be than 2026 was?
Again, it'll come back to what specifics we're talking about. I mean, I think that I can tell you this only because I was a part of some of this, is that there were visitors at our games that are interested in participating next year. And what the status is on that, obviously that's not my wheelhouse, but I can tell you there's a lot of interest. I can tell you that our owners are in it for the haul, and that if there's anything that they can do to grow this opportunity to be successful for everybody, not just the Toros, but for everybody who participates, they will. I can say that from my perspective, dealing with sponsors and fans and everybody else, the excitement is there, and people have come and asked how they can get involved for next year. So we're excited about that.
Nice.
And I can say that as much as we want to say that it all stopped yesterday, it just kicked into the new year. So I think we're all allowed to have maybe 2 or 3 days to breathe a little bit, and we're diving back in.
Well,
so there's a lot of excitement. I know that we're going to continue on a monthly, like we did our monthly outing, stuff like that. So you're going to still see those.
mm-hmm.
We have players that still want to be a part of it, and join us for those informative meeting mixers, meetups for the Toros. And I would love to elaborate a little bit more. I just don't know all the specifics, and I don't want to speak out of my realm. And so
right.
Hopefully Josh does get to join us again, and maybe he can elaborate a little bit more, because I don't want to speak on their behalf. But I can tell you that you have 4 owners that really care about the league, about the team, about the fans, about the players, about everything, the staff, and putting out the best product they can, not just in San Antonio, but across the league.
Well, maybe this next guest can. Yeah, I was just going to say, maybe this next guest can shed a little bit more on this next season, if I can get my computer to work here.
Oh my gosh, my partner in crime.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, y'all did have some great sponsors for season 1.
Well, I just heard Jen talk about a few days off, a few days to breathe. I haven't got that yet.
Well, you kind of don't get to, because Mr. 100 win underneath your belt now. Probably one of the sharpest dressed coaches on the sidelines out there. You don't get a chance to rest.
Yeah. Well, I'm here.
Wow. See, I heard flattery gets you everywhere, Coach, and my response to that is, well, I'm here. I'll just mess with you, Coach. So we were talking about things that we can look forward to for the upcoming season. Obviously, you can't give us a whole bunch of details, but on the from an aspect of scale, you can look at it from presentation or competition level, talent, whatever you want to say. How much bigger is 2027 going to be compared to 2026?
I mean, the only thing I can hope for is a lot more stability as a whole. Whether that's 4 solid teams or 6 solid teams or whatever it is, just a league where every single team has a staff that's paid in full. The players are paid what they're supposed to get paid, and that they get all the amenities, the housing, the meals, whatever it's supposed to be. And at the end of the day, we play a full season with no games canceled or anything like that.
Excellent. Obviously, nothing's been set in stone yet. We haven't, you guys haven't really laid out any plans, but you have dreams, you have a vision. What are we anticipating for this training facility that you guys are looking to establish? Is it just going to be a training facility? Are you looking for like a home field for the team that you can use for training facilities? What are we looking to do in the grander scheme of things with this?
As far as the facility is concerned, if you know the like D1 sports facility chains where they do private training, you can go lift, you get a membership there, get personal training, have a turf area to do field work, things like that. That's kind of our goal, is to have something that size or something in that vein. We have looked at some really large facilities that are way bigger than any D1 I've ever seen, and we looked at some that are about the same size. So I think right now it's really just about location, finding the best place that fits. If we can find maybe a place that's somewhere near where perhaps we're playing games or something like that, then that would be idea. I think there's always the chance of us building from scratch, but I just take a lot from there. But the main thing, like I heard Jen say when I came in, is we're looking to do things that haven't been done before, and to really build here. We don't want to, we want to be the trendsetter for this next level of professional football, and just bring stability that, we can do it and that the teams around us can do it. And we feel like having our own facility is something that's rare to my knowledge outside of the NFL. There's no pro outdoor football team in the States that has their own indoor facility.
That's true. I mean, that would be, an incredible thing to make happen here. So I'm trying to ask this. I know you're going to have a little bit of a biased answer, but from a coaching standpoint, from a fair, somewhat unbiased coaching standpoint, how do you think the season went overall for the team? Did guys perform at the level that you expected? Obviously, I think some of them performed a little bit better than expected. I don't know that anybody underperformed. That would be, obviously a question that you would have to answer, and I'm not going to put you on that kind of a spot. But just overall, from a team perspective, how do you think the team did this season? What are some areas that you think might need some areas of improvement? And how do you plan on dominating in 2027 and doing a back-to-back Continental Football League championship?
Well, first of all, and this is probably not the answer that you'd want, I honestly hope our league is strong enough next year that we're not so dominant. I'd rather take a 7-3 season and have a battle in the semifinal with someone than go out and win by 30, 40, 50 points every week, because that's not good for the fans. It's not good for our players, because, I mean, I can just turn on any message board or any comments of any game we play, and everyone says they're not playing anybody. I don't think that to be the case. I thought that some positions were stronger than others, but as a whole, both of the teams that we played in the South there's a ton of talent. A lot of guys with Division I, experience that played and did a great job in college, and there's some big name coaches on both teams as well that have been in the NFL and the CFL and every level underneath that. So, for me, at the end of the day, it's always about stability of the league, that we can go out and compete, because that's going to give the guys the best film and the best chance to, move on to the next level. And that's really what this is all about. So, as far as what we need to do to dominate, I think that's short-sighted if I'm thinking just about us right now, because we need to have a stable league to play in order to do what we want to do. So that's probably the most important thing in my mind. As far as performance of our guys this year, it's really hard. I think when people see, like, I don't know, a resume like, say, Obi Melifonwu, who's a second-round draft pick, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots, and you expect, or a Markel Roby, who is a top UFL player, you see them and you expect them to come in. They're like, okay, it's a lower level, so they should dominate. So maybe in your head as a fan, you think, like, this guy's going to just be the best player on the field. And then at the same time, you get guys like our leading tackler, Durant Hill from Mary Hardin Baylor, who has 0 pro experience. And you'd think, okay, well, the D3 kid probably isn't going to make the team, not with all of these, former NFL, CFL guys out there on the field. And then he ends up being about the best one we have. So you can't ever really judge somebody and what they're going to bring to camp, because you don't know how much shape they've been in, how hard they're working, what their aspirations are, and just how they fit within the team. So I wouldn't say there's anybody that necessarily underperformed or overperformed, because I don't know how much expectation we had. We know we signed all good players and that they would come in and compete. And, as far as the overall product, we were pleased. We won every game. Closest game was 23 points. So we won every game pretty handily. So you can't knock the players in any way. They did a great job.
You mentioned.
Yeah, I definitely. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Coach, you mentioned having more competitive football, in the games, and having a little closer, tighter games, and even possibly that 7-3 season. And that's one thing me and Jay were talking about when we were recapping Sunday's game, is that, I enjoyed it because it was the closest game we've had. It was the most engaging. The Tall City, they made that run in the second quarter, and it kind of made you sit there and be like, okay, like, we have a football game on our hands now instead of just another butt. So I can't agree with you there and see where you're coming from on that perspective.
Well, I just wish that it was more of those that we decided on the field and not by zebras at times, because I'll speak up. I don't care if it pisses off guys in Midland. You can't have a strong league like that too. I mean, I think you really need to educate the refs. They need to understand the rules. Every game we had, every officiating crew thought you'd spot the ball at different places for, different hashes or different places when you kick. Some would say, oh, you can run 2 yards past the line of scrimmage whenever you do the continental shift. Some would say, oh, if you're an inch past it, we're going to throw a flag. So, I think that's things that, as a whole, and, when you're working with local refs with each staff, they're generally going to be high school refs, and they're seeing different things than what they're used to, and players playing at a faster pace than what they're used to. And it just makes it a mess sometimes. And, I felt like both of our road games, that's kind of what happened, and it kind of derailed the on-the-field play. And, I wasn't very happy the other night, and I think that was clear if you were there and you were watching it. But as far as the Black Godo, kudos to those guys. They, that quarterback is a hell of a fighter. He made a lot of plays and did a lot on his feet that kept our defense on their toes. And I mean, they're that number one for them. He made one of the best interceptions I've seen all year, and number 6 might be the best player we played against all year, both games. He's a fantastic player. So in my criticism of the officiating, I'm not knocking their players or the game plan that they came up with, because they were much more competitive. But I feel like it's hard to get in rhythm. And I think we had a point where 7 straight times that we got a first down, we got flagged during the second and third quarter, and then you get a 20-0 run. That those things happen. Twice we scored touchdowns. We get a flag that we didn't agree with even after film, and then we turn it over the next play. And it just changes the game. That's all I'll say on that. But as far as our opponents, I thought they did fantastic. They were very competitive. They played hard, and they made us work harder than anyone else did. That was the toughest game we've had. It's the first time I've been nervous during a game.
Sorry, I'm texting with Josh. It looks like I'm the X factor here. My internet is not cooperating on my computer. So season's pretty much wrapped up, right? You've got a couple of things to do here, kind of, round things out, and then you're back home for a little while. What can we expect when you come back? Because obviously, even though the season's over, the work is never done. You still got to continue to, promote and be involved with the team and, do all the things, shake the babies, kiss the hands, or maybe it's the other way around. I'm not sure. But what can we expect when you come back for your next visit to lovely San Antonio? You're home away from home.
Yeah, I think right now the plan is to come down here and actually, move down here and be down here full time. Around like Thanksgiving, later in the year. I have to go back. I have some obligations back in Tennessee that I have to go handle. But the plan as of now is to be back in November and get to work. Where one thing that I really like to do is kind of take the model. I spoke with Jen about it. I spoke with Josh about it. Is through all my experience in Europe, we did a lot of building fan bases for places that maybe didn't have that many. And for me, it was always going in through the youth, through the schools, and being able to, you get the kids interested, and you give a 200 elementary kids or middle school kids tickets to come to a game. Talk to them about, maybe bring a few players. If there's some local players, they get excited about that. And then, maybe throw the ball around with them a little bit there. And then, I don't know any 9-year-olds that can drive a car. So they probably need a ride to get to the game. And there's a good chance that's parents. So maybe they have 2 parents and an older brother, and now you've sold 3 tickets. And, and that's kind of the model that we use to get a ton of fans at different places in Europe. And if I could be here, I could work for the team, full time, day to day, going out, hitting the different schools and just getting out there and being a face for the team. So, pretty much at the end of the day, what it would look like is probably going to be, Josh will probably tell you more than that. Whatever they need me to do, that's what I'm going to do.
So, Josh, would you like to jump in here and comment now that I think we finally got you?
Do we get all of our technical difficulties worked out?
Maybe.
You're out there at the fireworks stand. There's not good internet at fireworks stands.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of a delay there.
About 23 seconds.
And counting. Josh, you got us, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just did an hour-long podcast.
It's because of our long history and our ties together and everything, and the internet just doesn't want us to hang out, I think. But okay, let's do this. because there's a little bit of a time delay and everything's
Possible.
going on. We won't keep you long, Josh. But what can you tell us? Something that we can look forward to in 2027 with the team.
Something to look forward to in 2027. And if you guys can hear me, move your hands or something, because I doubt you can hear me. But something to look forward to is getting back. You know.
Okay. And that's definitely something that we're looking forward to. I'm assuming that, we are going to be helping encourage the league in kind of solidifying some things, because it seems like our ownership group has pretty good experience with running this, along with, the syndicate, and Tall City's got some, pretty sharp people on board with them as well. I'm not dissing the North or anything like that. I just don't know enough about them to maybe give them the same compliment. But I'm assuming that we will kind of try and consolidate, re-strengthen, and get some stronger opponents for this next year, so we can, in fact, have some really good competition and get really good game film on these guys. Is that a safe assumption?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some changes. Realistically speaking, these teams in the South are strong. The Tall City and Texas Syndicate and us, and we're going to try to stay as unified as a group, as supporting each other, sticking together, so to speak. And I know we've already talked to league ownership. We've talked to Manny, and he sees what we've been able to accomplish down here. So many of these leagues get to where we're at, and they don't even get to take the field, so to speak. And we were able to complete all in a good fashion. And then we still got the Tall City and Texas Syndicate playing this coming Saturday night. So and that off the season, we would have liked to have a season. It's just, who are we going to play? We sat back and looked at it and thought, we're going to beat. I don't want to assume we're going to win anything, but we're going to play a team we've already beat pretty handily twice, and playing for a third time. I don't know if anybody would want to even watch that or be a part of it. And then, bringing in some of the semi-pro teams that we did, for the preseason game, I was on board with that. I think all the way to the ushers, the people that had probably had the most experience on game day were the football players, and product on the field because of it, playing that semi-pro team as an organization, just to get in our fans and under our belt. But doing it at the end of the season, good. Talk a little bit about what we're going to. One of the things that all teams that played ball this year in the South want the ability to do is be part of the selection process.
I'm going to step up and be the rude one. Josh, we haven't heard anything in like the last 2 minutes, buddy.
Okay.
And I think we're all acting, but I'm sure you're saying good stuff. I actually wish I could hear what you're saying, but I mean, you hear like a,
we'll talk later.
Yeah. If I heard correctly, I heard something about maybe being part of some kind of selection committee or something. Basically, it sounds like the teams are going to have a lot more input and involvement in kind of the structure and design of how all this league goes. And I think that's really good and really important, especially for the teams that have established themselves and proven that they have a working business model. so that they can start. I don't want to say, packaging and mass producing, but using that as a template for the new teams that want to come on board. Like, you have to have these things in place in order to be successful. And if you don't have these things, this probably is not the league for you. So, Josh, we definitely, once you get through the craziness of the fireworks season and everything, which, by the way, we did already do the shameless plug, Bangers Fireworks, let us know. But Toro Tim did see an ad about if you spend $100, you get a free Toros shirt. If that is not the case, make sure to let us know. Okay. Yeah, I think we lost Josh. So I'm going to go ahead and pull him from the feed. So it definitely does sound like we have good plans for the future for the organization.
Yeah. I'd like to touch a little bit on what he was just, I think, what he was talking about a bit about playing the semi-pro teams and where we didn't see the value, because I've seen a little bit of whining about how we folded because we didn't play against a semi-pro team at the end of the year. And first of all, credit to the Texas Herd guys. I think that it's been pretty impressive going out there watching them play with 17 players, in 100-degree heat. But, the bottom line, even you watch those games, the teams that they're playing against, you could tell that the Black Gold and the Syndicate at times are trying even not to score just so it doesn't look so bad. And I think that that's a really bad thing for the sport. And I think it's the combination of having pro, semi-pro, and that mix right there. And you can't do that. If we're going to be professional, we have to be professional. You go back to week 1, we all played a non-league game, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was the Arkansas Nighthawks that went and played the Syndicate, and that's a true semi-pro team. I don't know if there's a college player that was playing there. Syndicate spanked them. You looked at the Herd. I don't know. There's probably a couple of guys there that maybe played college ball, but they only got 17 guys total, so it can't be that much. And I read all year about how we just played a semi-pro team called the Tennessee Hornets, but there was a lot of pro guys on that team that we beat. What was it, 71-0? That was the majority of the Fort Worth Braves. Just looking roster here, I grabbed my phone. They have guys from Kansas, Oregon, Texas Tech, Rutgers, Abilene Christian, Penn State, Texas A&M, Mississippi Valley State, LSU, Virginia, UTSA, University of Texas, et cetera, that played on these teams. So even in that 71-0 thing, it wasn't that we were playing 17 semi-pro guys. We were playing a team with 37, 38 guys, and I think about 31, 32 had reputable college experience, from the highest levels, SEC, to Division II stars, things like that. So they weren't even a terrible team. They were competitive. And if I'm being completely honest, I think they would have been quite competitive with most of the other teams in the Continental League. They weren't terrible by any means. But when you get to say, our season's done, this is where our decision came from players and coaches and staff to clear the air. We're 5-0. The Black Gold has played the Herd twice. The Syndicate's played them once. Combined, they beat them something like 115-12 or something. We beat the two teams that beat them like 115-12. We beat them something like 160 or something to 29. And it's just, there's so much to it. It costs a lot of money to have a game. It costs money to house the players for the rest of the week, to pay coaches, to pay for the facilities, to pay for the food. It's not cheap. And then you get there, and I know the fans want to play and we want to play, but none of our players even voted to play the game, because if we played a team with 17 guys, I don't know if they're going to get past the second quarter before they're out. And then you're forfeiting a game, or you're taking your jerseys out. What do we do? Put 7 of our players over and they put on orange jerseys and play the rest of the game with us. I saw it last year with what was it, the Astros or whatever, the Huntsville team. They
Right.
played some and one sports or some team, and that's what that team had to do. Like the Astros guys went and played for them, and they took like a 30-minute break. And I mean, if we're trying to put on a professional product, every game should look as close to possible as a professional product. And our players didn't want it. We didn't want it, but we felt like it would hurt the film. It takes away because the black gold are competitive and the syndicate are competitive. And when we're sending the film to the CFL, to the NFL, to the UFL scouts, if they look on the film and maybe they see two great runs by Andrew Henry against, the black gold and the syndicate, and then the next one they see it and there's 5 guys standing on the sideline with one coach, they're going to say, oh, these guys are playing, U37 ball or 37U, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And that's not that. That's not what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a professional league. Every player is supposed to get paid. Every coach is supposed to get paid. It was supposed to be 40 players, 7 paid coaches. All of these things are together. That's what this is. That's pro football. And we get knocked for doing that by some people in our league because we're doing what the league said we should do, what the rules were. We didn't pay one player or coach 1 cent more than what had been agreed upon by the league. And, I want to see it grow, but it is frustrating to hear all of the bad things we're doing when all we're doing is doing what the league was supposed to be doing the whole time. And, I want it to work more than anybody. Like I said, I'll pass up a championship to have a competitive league where we're all fighting for the same thing.
Yeah.
We need this. We need AA pro football outside. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There's great things we can do here.
Yeah. And I would say to the first thing where you were talking about, the people in the league saying thing, this, but, success breeds contempt. There's going to be people that are going to be envious of what you were able to produce. And that's fine, right? They can get glad in the same pants they got mad in. That's what my parents used to say. Okay. But to the other part, you are 100% right that we do need to have a successful league and we do need to have teams all fighting for the same thing because ultimately evenly matched players are going to have opportunities to show what they truly can do. If you're playing a team that is not at your same level, you're going to roll all over them. Yeah. But that game footage is not going to look the same because what was the challenge, right? Like, let's say you gave the ball to LeColby and told him to get past me. I think we know what's going to happen there. And how's that going to look on LeColby's film? It ain't going to look that good because he mowed down a 51-year-old, right? Like, so I 100% agree with what you're saying. Is Jen finally back? Yes, there's Miss Jen. There we go. We had to retire to the comfy interview position, and that's okay. So this next season, more competition, better overall structure, and we get to see you back here. You're talking about potentially moving down here to San Antonio. I will say, if that does happen, I owe you a beer, and I need to take you to a real San Antonio, a real South Texas barbecue place, because I know you guys in Tennessee think you know what barbecue is, but we got something for you. Okay, Coach?
What's your favorite Bill Miller's?
Ooh. Ooh. Coach, so have you ever been to Bill Miller's yet?
I haven't.
Okay. Bill Miller's is basically the McDonald's of barbecue.
Yeah, I mean, I see them everywhere here.
Mm-hmm. And that's why, because they're like the Bill Millers of barbecue. No offense to Bill Miller's, right? If you guys are watching, I'm not trying to take shots at you. You guys make some incredible fried chicken and some wonderful tea, sweet or unsweet, however you like it. They make it good. But it's kind of and the tacos. I can't forget the tacos. They make some incredible breakfast tacos, right? But their barbecue, Salt Lick is a good choice. Two Brothers is another one that I would shamelessly plug. But anyways, all that to say, Bill Miller's is not on the same level as like a Black's Barbecue or like a Salt Lick or a Two Brothers or something like that.
Why are you on here just hating on Bill Miller's? Nobody even brought him up. You just went on a 3-minute rant talking shit about Bill Miller's.
Because
what did they do to you? They're just existing. They're trying to give people brisket or something.
Well, we know they won't be a sponsor of our league now.
Yeah, thanks, pal. Well, maybe they will because I'm taking up for them.
Good point.
So there you go. The antagonist helped set the stage. So again, I don't know why you're coming at me like that now. No, I'm just playing. Anyways,
they have no dog in this fight.
Well, they didn't, but they do now, and I handicapped that dog, so it ain't got a chance. Anyways, the point being, Coach, when you come back down, you have an open invitation for us to go someplace and have some really good barbecue.
Bill Miller's.
Get the green
Sure,
there.
sure. Coach, if that's what you want, I will take you there. Okay.
I might go get some Bill Miller's now.
I was gonna say, they're closing.
Yeah, they're closing, so you won't be able to make it.
Right.
But tomorrow you can go and you can have some incredible pecan pie because they make some of the best pecan pie I've ever had in my entire life.
Do you want me to show you something? Do you want to see my text messages that I get from Jerry Glanville? Sneak peek from Glanville to me, our business. Look at this.
Yeah, I can't read any of that. I'm going to trust you to tell me.
I will read them. Friday, 8:36 p.m. Tigers win. Saturday, 8:29 p.m. What time bus leave tomorrow? Yesterday, 9:58 p.m. Tigers win. Just now, 8:59 p.m. Tigers win. So he's the biggest Detroit Tigers fan on the planet. Even we have staff meetings. If the Tigers are playing, he just has his phone on and he doesn't listen to a word we say. And the only text I get from him is if the Tigers win. If they lose, you don't get anything. So normally I get like one text a week from him, but they must be on a roll right now because he's texting me a lot lately.
Well, at least he's not a Milwaukee Brewers fan who gets used to all the buildup and all the hype going into the playoffs, and then we die every single season. That's what I'm used to. Anyways, but I don't even know we're a football show. Why are we talking baseball?
Sounds like my life as
Why
a
are we talking
Cowboys
Bill?
fan.
Well, I'm just trying to get you off Bill Miller's. They didn't do anything wrong.
Coach,
maybe you can get a new segment on your show that's brought to us by Bill Miller's.
I mean, if they're willing to sponsor, I'm willing to say whatever.
Yeah,
that's not actually true, but
I think we have a section where you have somebody that you just talk crap
Jay's
on.
reign of the week.
You just hate on. You just hate on for 5 minutes straight, and that can be brought to us by Bill Miller's.
So we can do that, but we already have that segment. It's our Do Better segment where we find something and we rip on them about it, whether it's fans.
Is going to be on Bill Miller and their barbecue?
Well, it was, yeah. So
we've already done that segment. It's over now.
Do better, Bill Miller's with their barbecue.
Do better, guys.
Do better. All right, guys. We're definitely over on time. You guys know we never adhere to our true 1 hour time limit that we ever say. From a fan perspective, from a podcast perspective, and just a general football enthusiast perspective, I know we talked about it at the thing last night, but guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything that you do. Coach, for the work you do on and off the field with the team. Jen, for all the stuff you do, all the promos, all the setup, all, the grunt work. I have never seen anybody run around a football game doing as much stuff as you are and not be on the field. You know what I mean? And this goes for everybody. You guys are just the ones that I have access to right now. But truly, let the staff know we could not have had a better season, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Just for the support, for the level of access you guys have provided, and for the quality of product. You have filled that football void in my heart and in my life, and I can't thank you enough for that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. And you even got this guy to come down here and come to football games. So,
I love it.
so
Yeah, I
all
thoroughly
right.
enjoyed this past season. It was a fun one.
It was excellent. So I guess at this point, we'll probably go ahead and end the show here. Again, thank you guys so much for everything. I want to make sure that, you guys know you have an open invite. Anytime you want to come back in, plug the team, talk about anything that's going on. 100%, you are more than welcome. We definitely want to make sure that we show our support because you guys are providing a much needed service for us that we wouldn't be getting, first of all, and we definitely wouldn't be getting the same quality without you guys. So
Look, I changed my title.
Bill Miller's enthusiast. I knew it. Coach, you're trying to
Coach
go. You're trying to get a free rancher plate, aren't you? That's
I'm
their
going-
like barbecue plate.
I've gone corporate.
Oh, dang it. Don't sell out to the man, Coach.
All of this winning went to my head.
Yeah,
gotta
your
keep on, too.
your 100 wins. By the way, again, congrats on that.
That just
So-
means I've coached a really long time.
Well, and been successful at it. Mike McCarthy has coached for a really long time. I don't know if he's able to say that he's got 100 wins. He certainly didn't once he left the Packers.
He's probably got a bit more money than I do, though.
Well,
He
So,
started
so I'd say that's a win in itself.
fair enough. Fair enough.
somewhere.
Yep. All right. Again, guys, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for being a part of this and helping make this happen. You have helped this podcast more than you guys know. And I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. And no, we're not doing the Bill Miller's cheeseburger combo for $11.99 when the burger is literally that big. Sorry, not happening.
Can
So
I say something really quick?
you can say whatever you want, ma'am.
I'm seeing some of the names come up, so I just want to thank. There's some sponsors on here, and I want to say thank you for a great season. And then I see some of our staff is on here as well, especially yes, they're on there. But I also see some of the staff too, so big thank you. You guys crack me up.
Yep.
It's supposed to be the Velada. How about the Velada Cup? Y'all are behind.
Well, we are, but we actually gave him a shameless plug. And I didn't get a chance to find out more information about that wonderful cigar, that Toros cigar.
So the staff, Brian, well, I should give Brian all the kudos here. Brian found those cigars and got the Toro cigars for our coaches and owners. So if we can have beer, we can have cigars. So thank you, Brian. I saw you
There
on
you
there.
go.
Kudos.
Toros
Yep.
rated R.
That's it. We have beer, we have cigars. Who knows what next year will bring?
Well, I've told you who I want to get a sponsor, but you won't go for it.
You're not allowed to have that sponsor, sir.
Okay. But it's $7.99 steaks.
I understand.
Say no more.
That's a
Say
San
no more.
Antonio joke right there.
The
Say no
sad
more.
part is they
Hey,
knew
I'm
what
a
it
hopeful
was.
now.
PK.
No
Okay.
bueno. And I'm sure Kaylee's on here and probably wouldn't appreciate that either.
Yes. Yeah. This is supposed to be, a dysfunctional family show, but a family show nonetheless. So,
Absolutely.
all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and kill it here. Again, thank you so much. Shout out to Texas Sports Productions. They've also been extremely instrumental in helping make this show happen and get to the level that it's at. Our friends over at Alternative Football Network, and then our friends over at the X-Fan Show who turned us on to the Continental Football League in the first place, which then led to me meeting you wonderful people and all that good stuff. And I'm not going to touch that comment.
Stop yourself, Brian.
Okay.
Get him, Cynthia.
There you go. 100%. But couldn't do it without you fans either, right? So, guys, thank you all for tuning in every week and putting up with the craziness and the shenanigans. Hope you're entertained because this is what we do it for, right? It's just for the love of the game and the fellowship that comes from it. So, Tune in probably next week. We're going to have a couple more players for sure. We're trying to get Cam back on because we need to bring a little spice in everybody's life, right? And Cam definitely brings the spice. I kind of feel like I found a kindred spirit in him, which is probably not a good thing for my wife. But, we'll figure all that out later.
Some of the players are on here now. Did you see them?
No, I didn't even get a chance to see all of them on there. Okay. Well, we're definitely, guys, if you haven't been on the show and you want to be on the show, shoot me a message, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, YouTube, all the socials, right? Texans Talking Football. Let me know. I'd love to bring you guys on and do an interview. We've already had, a decent amount of players, but I'd like to get everybody on because I want to get everybody's perspective on this fledgling league that is building up massive steam quite quickly, right? But anyways, that's it for the show. Guys, appreciate you. Much love. I'm going to go ahead and kick the intro out if you guys want to stick around for a second afterwards so we can do the after show talk. If not, if you guys got to go, I get it too. But probably next week, we'll see you guys then, all right? Vamos Toros.
Vamos Toros.